Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to just go through and take an unfiltered look at all of my plant collection and just share with you what's working and what is not working, what plants probably just need to be thrown away or given away or put on the side of the road, and what plants are doing really well. So if you are new here, this is a channel where I talk about my houseplants and do DIYs, so take a minute and subscribe and then I'll begin sharing all of the lovely plants that I have around. So we're going to start in my office, and I actually only have really one plant that I'm unhappy with right now, and it is this Choco Red. And I'm going to attempt to not place it by my other plants, but this guy, beautiful, lovely, has dog hair on him, and I really enjoyed it when I first purchased it. That's different. I really enjoyed it when I first got it, and it grew really well. It was under a Sansy light. I mean, look at that. Look at all the dust. This is just ridiculous. But now it has been spider mite magnet. I don't know if there's any on here right now. And it's just been growing like this. That leaf is gone. It corrupted. It just unfurled and was totally, I don't even know what, dead. But there is a new growth point right there. This is going to be the most lovely video of mine. Sorry. But I just don't know what to do with it anymore. And so I've been debating. Do I just chop it here? Or do I just keep letting it grow and continue on the way it is? This is a very difficult plant for me to propagate. I have tried to propagate it through cuttings before, like cutting and propagating in water and perlite, and it just didn't take. So I'm very nervous to cut it, knowing that, you know, there's a 50-50 chance or higher that this won't come through. Obviously, there's always a 50-50 chance, but I just think it's not worth it, I guess, to cut it. But, you know, it grew really well. It had really big leaves, and then they all of a sudden just got spider mites through our move and started to become this little ugly plant. So I don't know what to do with this. I did have a, what else did I have? Varicosum. That was it. I had a Varicosum, threw it away. It did not make it. Spider mites completely overtook it, which was a #1 comment that I had heard from other people who had those. But now my Choco Red is ending up in the same boat, and I just don't know what to do. So I obviously have a lot of plants over here. This is a philodendron Burley Marks, just unvariegated version. This is an Esqueleto, Monstera. That is a Epipremnum marble. And this guy here down here is my Syngonium albo, which is actually growing in really nicely. And it has multiple new growth points. So I am leaving him as is. I have all of his cuttings over there that I took because I do have a video on this. This was a much bigger plant. Now this guy, I really, over the years of having him, 2 years, have just, maybe actually almost 3. Wow. Anyways, have given up on it, you know, and then cut it all back and then given up on it again. It shoots off these really long runners, which I can't even find the edge of it because it wants water, it wants to climb. And yet I just let it go. Now it does have, you know, a whole new growth point down here. This was part of the mother plant I chopped off, sorry. And it grew all new leaves. Now it's a beautiful plant and it's a ton, looks a ton better than it did when I first got it. Like 100 times better. Thrips got it. It was an event. So I just chopped it all back and it looks great. But it kind of is one of those plants where I'm not in love with it. I just don't know what to do with it. And it just kind of sits here. And I don't know. I don't know what I should do with this. Now, this shelving unit is a mess. I feel like every time I get it back together, it just becomes disorganized and horrendous. But another plant that I'm just interested about and seeing if anybody else has any thoughts on it, I should have moved my computer and, you know, actually thought about this better, is this Epipremnum giganteum variegata. So let's zoom in here. You can see the pretty variegation that it started out with. Look how nice that was. And it all of a sudden went green. So I have had it under my Barina grow lights, and I am wondering if it is also like the Paraiso Verde, where It is a temperature-based variegation, which is a real bummer because there's just no way that I will ever have the right temperature for it. I mean, the Paraiso Verde, someone told me online, basically like 82 degrees is what it needs to have like this beautiful variegation. That is, you know, not possible in a home situation. So I'd be very curious if anybody has one of these. Is it a temperature-based variegation? Give me more information. I really want to know what to do for that. Now moving on to our dining area. This is where all my Monsteras are, or my Deliciosa Monstera varieties. So this one, I actually had a huge plant. It was massive. Sat in my living room forever. If you go back quite a few months, years, you will see it. I chopped it all back because it was one long vine, and now it's multiple vines in one plant. And I have even stuck some like little baby Monsteras in here that I had got like over the years. And it's doing okay. It's growing well and on its way back, but it's kind of one of those plants that since the move, I just stuck it in the corner. Haven't really thought of it more. And you can definitely tell that at one point it had thrips or something. I have since washed it off and treated it, but it's okay. It's just one of those plants where I don't really know what to do with it anymore. Then we move over here. This is my reverted Monstera albo, and I just stuck it in here. I got it for free at, you know, Plant Pop-Up probably 2 years ago as well. And part of this is in that pot now, baby. But I just keep it here. It sits by this window. I don't know if this is like a north-facing window or what it is. Honestly, I have not figured out my windows. And if I thought about it really hard, I could figure it out. But this kind of just sits here. And I've thought about getting rid of it many times, but it keeps growing. Obviously, no variegation is coming out of it, but it feels like one of those plants that's probably just a waste to have here. But maybe it's okay. Now, these plants are over here I'm happy with. This is my Clarinevrum Aurea cutting and my Gloriosum, which is finally starting to grow. But here to the other side, we have my beautiful Thai Constellation that I just, over the course of a year having it, really regret purchasing this plant. Let's back it up. It's huge. It's beautiful. I love it. I wish that I could grow it well, but it is a slow grower, needs a lot of light, and it's prone to root rot, yet it hates to be watered a lot. And so it's constantly in this like drooping cycle or browning cycle and just unhappy cycle, and I cannot figure it out. I just cut off 2 mother leaves the other day, and because they were just completely brown and rotted off. But I did see last night, I'm going to show you something. Do you see that growth point right there? There's a new growth point coming up. And so every time I like cross this off my list and say I'm done, a new growth point appears. Yes, this does have a new leaf coming up right there. This is one of the shoots because I did take this and chop it to several pieces and place them all back in the pot once they were well rooted. So there are multiple quote unquote vines in this one pot now, but it's like, I don't know, it's just the worst plant for me. I cannot figure it out. I'm unhappy with it. And yeah, I really seriously contemplate all the time just getting rid of it. Another plant that I'm really disappointed in myself with the move that I've let die is my string of turtles. This was so lush and happy, and I just completely neglected it and let it dry out way too long. And now little pieces are falling in there like that. So honestly, this is one that I'm just like, I really want to just throw it away or give it to someone who will rehab it back to life. They are easygoing plants, and so you can see all the new growth here. But yeah, I don't know what to do with that guy. Hence, he's just still sitting there. Now over here in our kitchen nook is my Philodendron Splendid, which I'm partly over. You can see that it's growing towards the light. I need to repot it. I need to do something. It is a climber, obviously it is climbing and it's doing well, but it's not sizing up. It needs to be repotted. It's probably root bound by now. It has not caused me any issues like with pests so far, but I don't know. It just kind of bothers me how it's a single vine, obviously, and I got it like that. But yes, it's just one of those plants that I'm like, I probably shouldn't have bought that. Same for this plant over here. This plant is a philodendron Columbia, and it has spider mites. You can see them all right there. I've just set it over here. Yes, it's by my string of hearts. Yes, it's by my Splendid. I kind of am about to just throw this in the garbage. This was 20 bucks. I bought it in Florida. It is a beautiful plant. The leaves grow really, really large. And so I was hopeful for that. But it just doesn't grow the way I want it to grow. Obviously, look at all of this. It does need high humidity. It does need high light. It does not like to dry out. Those are all my tips for you. Because if you give it that, then it will start to grow well. So it has started to grow well until, again, the spider mite issue of 2024 happened. And that is due to stress. And I've moved it and placed it in different areas. So if your plants, do continuously get spider mites, one, they're really hard to get rid of. And number two, pests are called to plants because they're stressed out, which is really funny. But they are, and I just can't get rid of them. So it sits here along with my variegated string of hearts that I've also killed along the way. This used to be really beautiful and lush. It does have spider mites. I do love this plant. I think that it is a great plant, but I just got really tired of, again, highlight plants. This is my problem. I have too many highlight plants and not enough space for them anymore. And so this is what happens. I neglect them, and unfortunately, the pests come. Now after this video, I probably will be throwing these two plants away. I'm sorry. I did get this plant, this whole string of hearts for $12 at Walmart. So it wasn't a $30 purchase. I do have another string of hearts, variegated string of hearts in my bedroom, and I do love it, and I will keep it that way. Now for the darkest room, which is our bedroom, and it houses a bunch of random plants that I probably should just look through and get rid of. But I kind of just hold on to them. This used to be in my bedroom, this whole shelving unit, and used to sit by a southwest facing window. But now they're all just crammed under here, under these two sets of green grow lights. But I don't know what to do with them otherwise. Now this is a sentimental plant. I don't know why, but it was my first real house plant. And yeah, over the years I kind of killed it off, but I propagated it and it's been doing well. It's grown into this one little vine. And so I just hold on to it because yeah, it is sentimental. This I actually really like and want to get repotted, but again, it needs high light. This is a Ficus shiveriana. I purchased it and it was a little guy, but it has grown so much, and I really do love this plant. I think that it's a beautiful variegation. I actually do really like Ficus, and like Ficus elastica, which is what this variety is. I like my fiddle leaf fig. I've held on to it for years, and it's still going strong. I didn't show it to you. It does not look great. But this also, this splash back here, I just did a video on it. I'm keeping that for sure. I love this plant. I think that it's bubbly and fun. I have this here, this Pilea peperomia. Is that what it is? Stardust. I don't ever know these things. Yeah, peperomia gold stardust variegated. I think it's beautiful, so I will be keeping that. That back there is a painted lady, and I probably will just be throwing it away after this. I mean, really, Brooke, really. Now, this is my beautiful Ring of Fire Jungle Boogie, and I really do love it. I think that it's beautiful. I just need to give it a better space. Now, this is one of the ones that I am not sure what to do with. I actually really do like this plant. This is a King Beechii Anthurium, and it does need a lot of light to grow, but this is getting too much light now, and it's in a too squished of a spot, so it's really starting to stunt the growth that you can see there, and I'm just not really sure what to do with it, where to put it, but I need to figure it out. Now this plant is one of my favorites, not getting rid of it. This is a variegated heartleaf, not getting rid of that one, but then you've got some down here. That Tenanthe Burley Marks probably just Wildcat needs to go, and I just keep holding on to it. I actually do love the variegation of it, and it's so pretty, but again, I don't have the space for it, and it does actually need a lot of highlight. Sorry, I got the child climbing on me. But actually, it does need a lot of light, surprisingly. It needs a lot of water, good amount of water, and a lot of light. Another one that's just been holding on that I sincerely just need to throw away now is this Pothos Mandula. It's actually doing really well, so I could probably pot those up and give those away, the parts that are doing well. This is a Hoya, and I'm not really sure which one it is. I actually grew this from a little cutting from a friend. Her grandma had it, and I think it was like 50-year-old Hoya. So I will be holding on to that. This is going to go in the garbage after this video. It's a Stanleyana, done. This is, again, an Enjoy. Need to throw those leaves away. Okay, we'll leave those there. I will be keeping this. I love the Enjoys, and this is actually for my papa's funeral, so I will be saving that one. And then another one that I'm just like, I'm over, is this Scindapsus. I think I will be giving this away as well. It's a beautiful plant and really easy to grow if you have high light. You guessed it. Again, I'm just not sure that I want to be giving this specific plant that much attention and highlight versus a plant that I have elsewhere in my collection that needs it. And then here's my variegated string of hearts. So I propagated this off of one of my other string of hearts, and it's been doing very well in this situation, so I will keep that guy. So my last room is my living room, which this Mayoi, I've shared that, but this plant, my tortum, I stuck it under this light, which I have a whole video on how I took this vintage picture light and turned it into a grow light, but I have just given up on this plant. I called it quits. I said, if you're going to die, you're going to die. I don't care, because I could not figure out the care for it. And then I stuck it here, and look at that, a new growth point. So I think it likes extreme amount of lights, well watered, and yeah, that's whatever verbiage he said. But I'm just gonna hold on to it. If it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, last plant that I am just not sure about, and I wasn't sure about from the beginning. I purchased another one, and here we are. I'm still regretting it. Is this Jose Bono philodendron. It is a beautiful plant. I bought one with the most variegation, and unfortunately it's just reverted back. It's one of those plants that if you don't give it the right amount of light and just temperature and all that good stuff, I have found the variegation just goes away. So it's one of those plants where I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful, and I really love the leaf shape. However, it's just needs more light. It's just not doing well in this window versus everything else over here that is doing well. But it's one of those plants where I'm like, well, I should probably just give this away to somebody and let them try it. But it is such a beautiful plant, and it's the second time I bought it, so I'm really unsure about it. It's not like they're hard to find anymore. But yeah, one of those plants that I'm just not really positive on what to do with. So that was it. That was a unfiltered conversation about all the plants that I have and what I'm going to do with them. So if you liked this video, make sure to subscribe. Hopefully I will be getting a mic back soon, and I'll be sharing more about what I do get rid of possibly coming up. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.